Well, hello everyone. My name is Jake, and I am going to start a new series of some things pertaining to my motorcycle. I got a motorcycle back in 2020. I'd wanted a Yamaha V Star 1100 for many years. It's a great bike. I have it now, but there's some things I did not like about it when I first got it. Some changes that I've made that I'm going to go over in this video, and then some changes that I'm hoping to add in over the next couple weeks. It's definitely not my forever bike. If you're looking to be generous, I'm looking for a Victory cross country tour as my next one, but that should be some time before I get there. So let me turn the camera around and I'll kind of show you what we got going on here. So here is the bike. The first thing that I did was, and you can kind of see here, there is some scuff marks here on the side. There were highway bars, crash bars that were on there that made it so that my footboards here were way further back, and I wasn't able to actually even use this rear brake because my legs are so long. I have like between a 34 and a 36 inch inseam. So I took that off. And the first modification I did was these boards here. These are extended across this way. The original board mounted right here and came out here, and that just wasn't good enough for me. I needed them to move out, and so these are a Scoot Mod 6-inch extension that slides these boards forward and makes them far more comfortable. And I got them on, obviously, on both sides here. The next modification that I made in order was that the seat is absolutely terrible on these bikes out of the gate. So I did some research, did some digging, because I didn't want to be moved up or further forward. And like your Mustang seats and things like that do that. Ultimate was the only seat I could find that actually kind of moved me down and just a little bit further back, away from the handlebars a little bit. So I put on an Ultimate rider seat, one for the passenger, also replaced this backrest and have a backrest for me riding as well. The next thing down the line, and these took a long time to find because they don't make them anymore, because I took off the highway bars, the first thing I tried was putting on some of these types of things, but off that side piece, and they were okay, but I didn't really like them. And then I found these actually mount to the bottom of the floorboard. Had to drill a couple of holes through there, but wasn't very hard. Put those on there, and these are amazing. I don't know how to say the name of the company correctly. I think it's Kuryakyn. Used to make these. They're super hard to find because they're discontinued, but I just kept watching eBay forever and ever until I could find them. The next thing I did was this right here. This is the quad lock. It also charges, so it runs back underneath the tank to where my battery is and connects with the same thing that my battery tender connects to. The next thing I did, this was not necessarily a planned update, but in 2021 I did lay the bike down, and it had like as my wife described it, like a little football helmet thing that was mounted around here that got a little bent in, and so I just took that off. This next one you can't actually see, but this is a fairly common issue for Yamaha V Stars, is that the starter clutch goes, mostly because people are starting them incorrectly. If you give the bike any throttle while you're starting, you basically wear out that starter clutch, and it was already starting to be worn out when I bought it. I didn't realize I was doing it wrong. I continued to do that, and so last summer came out to start the bike to go for a ride with some friends, and it just spun and spun and spun. So that's kind of in there behind where that footboard is, and that where the oil is, all in kind of in back in there is the starter clutch, and that got replaced last summer. And then the last mod that I've had made so far, oh, two more, is the oil filter on this bike is put in the most ridiculous spot ever. This is where the oil filter is supposed to go. So to do an oil change yourself, you had to take off the exhaust pipe. That was awful. And so companies made this relocation kit. So this used to have like a Yamaha branded plate over it. Now it just has this here with some braided steel hoses that come around to the front. And now my oil filter is right here, which just makes spinning it off and on really easy. And I said one more, but there was two. I'm not super thrilled with where this is finished yet, but I did replace the horn. The horn on this bike, initially you could barely hear it with the engine running. And I got these at the end of last year, and they are significantly louder. I just don't like how the way that they're sitting currently. If I hit a really good sized bump, they kind of rock and knock together. So I'm gonna see if I can find somebody to help me fabricate something to come across like this here maybe, and mount them kind of facing down towards the ground. But that's on the list of things to do. So other things I'm gonna do, because I'm a really tall guy, and when I ride for any good period of time, that spot between my shoulder blades and kind of mid back really just is on fire. And so I've done a lot of research and reading, and I'm gonna try putting on some new handlebars. Those handlebars, what I'm gonna do is take out the stock risers, and I'm gonna put in, instead of this is like a 2-inch stock riser, I'm gonna put in a 1-inch riser and 16-inch ape hangers, which should bring my position for my hands more up here instead of here. And they say that that could help relieve some of that pain in the back. With that comes, rewiring all of these controls here and here, as well as redoing all of these lines, because these lines will give you about 12 inches, but they won't give you the 16. So I've got new lines coming. They should be here Friday. And then the last thing the last two things I'm going to do are on this front side. When I went down, the other thing that got damaged when I went down was this turn signal here, and so I've needed to replace that. I found that I could get an aftermarket turn signal with driving light combo cheaper than I could buy the stock turn signal. So I've got that coming. Should also be here this weekend, and so that should change out my turn signals, as well as give me 2 more lights here to get better visibility. And then the other thing is, when I'm riding on the highway, if you've ridden a motorcycle with either a front fairing or a windshield, you get a lot of wind that comes up through here, and it hits me just perfectly on the chin, and so I get what they call some wind buffeting from that. And I think these things are ugly, but I'm doing a pretty long ride coming up here at the beginning of May, 5 days out on the road with this, so I'm trying to make it as comfortable as I can. So I got things that will clamp around the forks here, and almost like a little tiny extension to the windshield that should drive air out a little bit further instead of up and underneath. And I'm hoping that's going to take care of some of that wind buffeting. So that is kind of where we're at on the V Star. Again, if you've got a Victory Cross Country Tour and want to save me all this work, let me know. But this is going to be my project for the next couple weeks. Almost everything is here. The only thing I'm waiting for now to really get started on this project is the lines that will arrive on Friday, and then the headlight, the new light assembly that's also coming on Friday. So I'll probably start breaking this down this weekend, and hopefully, here in Arizona, where it's already getting warm enough to ride. So hopefully I will not take too long. I think the hardest part is going to be soldering the cables for all of the controls and making sure that all of that still works. So, all right, that's it.